Today we're exploring Oko the Ringleader, new out of Outlaws Thunder Junction. We're going to talk about how good he might be and what signature spells might pair best with him. Oko costs 2 green-blue and starts at 3 loyalty. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Oko the Ringleader becomes a copy of up to 1 target creature you control until end of turn, except he has hexproof. +1, draw 2 cards. If you've committed a crime this turn, discard a card. Otherwise, discard 2 cards. -1, create a 3/3 green elk creature token. -5, for each other non-land permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. Yeah, this guy seems really good. Maybe not top tier, but very strong, and I like the uniqueness of it. One of the previous Okos could also turn himself into a creature, and I always wanted to build that guy, but 6 mana is just too much for what he is. I avoid 6 mana planeswalkers in general, but that ability at 4 mana? Whew, yeah, now we're talking. And you don't even have to waste an activation to use it with this guy. As for the other abilities, the +1 seems pretty good, especially if you've committed a crime. Remember, that means whenever you cast a spell or activate an ability that targets an opponent or their stuff, spells, permanents, hand, library, or graveyard, you are committing a crime. That turns that +1 into card advantage instead of card selection, and that's way better. The -1 is a nod to Oko Thief of Crowns, which turned opponent stuff into 3/3 elks. And although this is fine, the other one was way better. Normally I'd be more interested in removal on a planeswalker than token making, but it is a pretty good body. A 3/3 is pretty decent. Then we've got that -5 that could be very strong. Remember, it can make token copies of tokens too. But what signature spell would be best with this guy? We've got a lot of options for synergy, or different directions to take it, I should say. Oko might be a good and unique candidate for a polymorph style deck. You can destroy the elk token that he makes to reveal cards off the top of your library until you hit a creature card and put it onto the battlefield. A deck like this doesn't use any small creatures, so you can only hit bombs. The interesting thing about Oko is that he can become a copy of the creature you polymorphed into. So in a way, you kind of get 2 of them, and if Oko's been out on the battlefield long enough, you can attack with him right away. Just make sure you build your deck without legendary creatures. That's not going to work out for you. And I would say, yeah, that does lower the power level of the deck, but I think it balances out and would make a really cool build. There are some other ways to cheat out some big stuff for Oko to copy. Green Sun's Zenith is a sorcery for X green. Search your library for a green creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. Or Dramatic Entrance for 5, you may put a green creature card from your hand into play, or Show and Tell for 3. Each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. I shouldn't have to tell you, that's a little bit dangerous, allowing your opponents to do that, but you could. Another unique option that would kind of take advantage of his copying ability is a poison deck, and I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. He could become a copy of creatures with Infect or Toxic. If the game goes late, you can use the -5 to double up on all your Infect and Poison cards. Creatures and spells with Proliferate not only up the count of the poison, but also up the count of Oko, and we could pick a signature spell that poisons them. And of those, I especially like ones that would count for committing a crime, because it would synergize well with his plus. Now, even if we're not doing poison, picking a signature spell that counts for committing a crime and is just generically good is a solid option anyway. There's not as many options in blue-green as really the other colors. The other colors are way better at committing crimes on your turn. I don't think a counter spell is ideal here because you gotta be able to do it on your turn. I think Oko could helm a pretty solid token strategy too, and that sounds kind of weird. He's probably not ideal for it, but that -5 allowing you to double all your stuff could make it worthwhile if you can figure out how to somewhat consistently get to the -5. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button for the only channel doing consistent Oathbreaker content. This is not a popular format, so every single like goes a long way in telling YouTube to push my videos just a little further, and I appreciate that. Thanks a lot for watching. Check out my content if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.